Yo, yo, yo. What's cracking? It's your boy, T Fizzy, and my homie, Mr. Wheels. What up,
Yo, yo,
Jonathan?
yo, what's good, fam?
Happy, what is it, hump day? Is it Wednesday?
Hump day?
Hump day? I'm just going to check the audio and make sure that everything's Gucci. If anybody's popping in, oh yeah, I can hear it. I'm getting feedback on my browser. Um, just bear with me. Bear with me for a second. What up? We got Leon in the chat. We got Leah in the chat, and we're not cooking today. This isn't cooking with the T Fizzle today. Why is that?
I'm disappointed.
It just wasn't happening. Had too much going on earlier, and I wasn't able to for the cooking. So we're gonna continue with the cooking next week. But the other part of this show, or at least my hope to be for the other part of the show, is to be talking about life skills, particularly those that pertain to like skills for independent living. I've been living on my own for a while, and I try to disseminate good, meaningful information for others who are also interested in living independently. And independent living skills doesn't even necessarily mean that you live on your own, but they are just good skills to have and practice to be self sufficient and to be as functional as independent as possible. And I think it's important. What's your opinion on that, Mr. Wheels? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I just had to close the window because it was going a little funky.
What
But
up, Albie? No worries, dude.
what did you what did you
Take
say? What was my
take
opinion on what? Living
take
by
your time.
myself?
Take your time. Yeah. What was your opinion on independent living skills? Do
It's
you think
definitely not
they're
only
important?
physically, mentally draining, but it is also like socially draining. I could say that because especially in our situations that we're in, we can't be by ourselves for too long. So we have to make sure we get the right help. But a lot of us want to be by ourselves, but in the end, we're really not. But yeah, so you have to be not only physically strong, but a lot mentally strong too.
You said it. You not only have to be physically tough, you got to be mentally tough. I'd say like the mental toughness going alongside like learning independent living skills is maybe just as important as the physical act of doing whatever it is you're doing. I can't tell you how many times like overcoming like those mental hurdles, like also just having the mental fortitude to like not give up, is a learned skill and a practice one, and it's taken me a long time to get there. And it's kind of something that I'm always continuing to work on and develop. And I'm getting phone calls during the live. I'm sorry, I'm just so popular. People don't want to leave me alone. Um, so I am Tom Conaway. We didn't introduce our guest officially. The person, the wonderful friend, the beautiful human being that is joining me today is Mr. Jonathan Briones, aka Mr. Wheels. What up, Jonathan? You want to just give a little intro for yourself?
Who? Well, I'm Jonathan, Mr. Wheels Briones. Um, I was born with my disability. It was known as orthogryposis, and so I've been like this since birth. Nothing, nothing in my life has changed since going on. Going to be 34 in a couple weeks. So, yeah,
Okay.
just living life.
Albie in the chat says your voice is doubled. That might be me. That could be feedback coming through my speaker that's messing with it. Let me see if I can fix it real quick, Albie. And yeah, we'll try to figure it out. All right, Mr. Will. So you've been living with your disability your whole life.
Full life.
Your whole life. I got you. I'm right there with you. Not quite my whole life, but the last, I mean, most of my life, like 28 years, going on 28 years. So I can kind of relate in that sense. What's your journey been like? I know you have an awesome family that loves and supports you, but I've also know that you made some forays into independent living. You know, moving out of state, going to college, and living on your own. And what was your experience like with that? How was it?
Well, the first time I got to go live on my own, it was a few years out of high school. I went to community college, and then after community college, I got accepted to Kansas University, and that's when I had to move to Lawrence, Kansas. And I'm originally from California, so that was a big change and a big move, but I did it. I was there for 3 years by myself. I did have my brothers about an hour away, but that was an hour away, and so I did have in-home care come at least twice a day to come help me out, and it's just a lot of organizing, time management, because yes, my eyes, even though they're supposed to come help you and take care of you, I remind myself that they're human beings and they have a life. And yes, this is their job, but you have to remember that those people that are helping you are humans and things happen in life. So you must be prepared for that.
You bring up something really important: balancing care, which many of us require in order to survive and make just like independence even possible. Like without the balance that I have with my caregivers, I wouldn't be able to be as independent or as functional without it. But finding and maintaining that balance is really tricky, and it can be really difficult to just rely on other people. Like you said, like they're human beings, they have lives too. But like finding that balance, it can be difficult to achieve, or it could just take a lot of work and a lot of effort. And then while maintaining that balance, it could be a lot of, you know, like balance and navigating and learning that goes into that as well. Um, so very very great point. I'm going to try to switch over to my headphones real quick. Um, do me a favor, just bear with me for a second, you guys. I'm sorry that I didn't have all of this set up before, but let's see if this fixes the echo. And Albie, this is just a chatting stream. So if there's anything you want to bring up, anything specific you want us to talk about, let us know. Now's the time. What up, happy PT girl? We got Gracie in the chat. Thank you everybody that's joined. And yeah, bear with me for a sec. I'm gonna see if this switch works. My husband.
You got it. You can do it.
Um, Thank you. Hang on. This didn't connect. The audio should just switch over automatically. Hello? Hello? Say something? Oh, can you hear me now? Alright, alright, alright. I can hear you too. Let me just check OBS to see if the audio levels are okay. I think the audio is fine. Do we still have say something? Um, can somebody let me know in the chat if we can hear Mr. Wheels? Um,
Can you hear me calling?
okay, I think we got you now. I think we got you now. I'm gonna lower your levels just a tad bit because you're spiking.
Oh,
Just
lower me.
lower you down. Okay. Now, Albie, Gracie, anybody in the chat, if you could just maybe give me a thumbs up if everything is sounding good, if you can hear me, if you can hear Mr. Wheels. I think I fixed it. Um,
One for
oh,
good, two for bad, three for
yeah,
maybe.
we got it. We got it. We got it fixed. There's no echo. Everybody can hear. Let's go, Mr. Wheels.
Yarni. Let's get
Thank
it.
you guys for helping me out, and I do apologize that things are a little different today. It's not a one-person show; it's a two-person show with me and Mr. Wheels. Um, so yeah, you're talking about that caregiver balance. How was that for you? Was it difficult to achieve? What
You
was
just have
that? What was that like for you?
the The most difficult thing I think is just learning the person and what like there are certain things that they do. Yes, everyone has pet peeves that certain people do, but you kind of just have to look past it and just tell yourself that's just who they are. That's just them. You just gotta go with it. Don't go against the grain. Go with the grain, even if it's something that you don't really. It's not a core value in your life. Doesn't matter. It's the value in their life, and you should respect it. And it'll go both ways because you're gonna be asking your person to be doing stuff that they may not agree with, but they're gonna do it anyway. So we have to think the same way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're totally right. You need to be flexible. Like, I always try to make sure that our the caregiving thing, it's a professional relationship and that like they're working for you. Um, but it's also a very kind of personal thing too because this person is in your space. They're helping you with very personal things like cleaning, bathing, bathroom. You know, they're just in your room, in your space, doing, moving your things around, touching all your stuff like that.
Yep,
And
dirty clothes.
if you don't vibe with them kind of on a personality level, I found that it can be really, really difficult to, have a functional working relationship either. Um, Not that like they have to be your best friend or anything. Like I've certainly like had caregivers that I wasn't even necessarily like friends with, but I was certainly friendly with, and we had like a patience and understanding and um, respect and consideration for one another that makes it all jive and makes it all work. And yeah, really important stuff. Thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. We do have Albie in the chat, and this is we're mostly talking about independent living skills today. We can certainly dance around different topics and different subjects. Albie in the chat asks, "How do you guys find a way to not let your mental thoughts get negative, and what do you do to gain more confidence in life?" Mr. Wheels, you want to take it? It's kind of a two
How
part
do I?
question. How
Yeah,
do
what
you
was the
not let
first
your mental
part?
thoughts get negative?
How do I say that one more time? Sorry.
Um, how do you guys find a way to not let your mental thoughts get negative? Do they get
Oh, how
negative?
do
Do
I?
you have negative mental thoughts sometimes? I don't
You
think
know what? Like
everyone
I said,
does.
I think it's just like I said earlier, the pet peeves. Like you'd be like, "Oh, I'm a little annoyed that they do that," and so you start thinking negative and stuff. And like I said, you just kind of be like, "No, like it's okay," because they might not like something that I do, and they've never said it to me. So you have to not think that way. And then I think a big thing, thinking negatively, it happened to me a lot. For sure, it's happened to a lot of people in the same predicament. But you start thinking like, "Are they gonna show up in the morning? Like, am I
Outside of
gonna have to
caregivers,
call
like
somebody?" Yes, very hard.
what about yourself? Do you ever think negatively about your disability? Do you ever get
All the time. Look,
frustrated
yes, I'm
and
not gonna
just
lie, I do. There's plenty of times, even just doing the simplest task, and I drop it, or it just take me the longest. I'll get very frustrated, and then I have to take a deep breath and just do it slowly, or just take my time and just do it. It might not be done the first time, it might not be done the second or third time, but it's gonna get done, and that's all you have to tell yourself. It's gonna get done.
that was kind of my next like follow up question is how do you handle the negative thoughts when you have them when you get frustrated? I certainly deal with negative thoughts more often than I'd like to admit. I Everyone like looks at T Fizzle and is like, man, T Fizzle's a pretty positive, happy guy, and I certainly am. I have so much to be thankful and grateful for in life, and that really helps me maintain a positive perspective. And I also work really hard to try to stay positive and project that into the world. But I deal with a lot of negative thoughts and feelings a lot too, a lot more than I wish, and a lot more than I think a lot of people think. Um, Sometimes it's just like what Mr. Will said. Like I'll get really frustrated trying to do something. I'll just be struggling, having a bad day. This morning, I was having a really hard time getting my pants on when I was getting dressed. It was just literally like a pain in the butt. Like I was flipping back and forth. The sweats that I grabbed last night and put in my bed, they weren't the right ones that I thought they were. So they're a little small on me, and I was just getting like pissed off and frustrated. And I was like, oh, I wish this was easier. I wish I had. I was like, oh, I wish I had some help, or I wish I wish. But
But what did you do in the end?
I
What in
took
the end?
I
What
took a
did you
deep
do?
breath. I took a deep breath. I just gave myself a minute. I grabbed my phone. I put something funny on YouTube that I could listen to over the next couple minutes while I, worked on finishing getting dressed, and I just did it. I just did it. Once I was up in my chair, all the frustration, all the negativity went away. Um, I I can also kind of get down on myself. Um, I can view myself kind of through a negative lens sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. This is like having to do with a lot of like my self esteem and my self confidence. But this kind of segues into the second part of Albie's question is, what do you guys do to gain more confidence in life? Um, I work on myself. I take care of myself. I every day, I actively do things to better myself and to try to keep myself healthy. I know that Mr. Wheels, you practice a lot of that too. I know you were just working out earlier this afternoon. So, how do you combat seeing yourself in a negative light, and how do you work on your confidence? How do you find your confidence? Because you're one of the most confident people that I know.
You know, uh, I'm kind of glad I'm here because I like Tom, like just like Tom. And Tom just said right now, Mr. Wills, you're so positive. Every time I see you, you have a smile. You're just so positive. But Tom, I'm just like you. I do this in front of people. I have to be confident and positive in front of people. But when this camera turns off and I'm behind my door in my room by myself, thoughts go through my head. Negative thoughts go through my head too. For instance, right now, I'm in a battle trying to get hired in any place, any job, whether it's coaching basketball, being a janitor at the local business, being an office aide, anything. And it's so hard. And I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning society because I am like I have all the requirements that are wanted or needed. I went to a university. I kid around and I say I went to the Harvard of the Midwest, which is Kansas University, but it's really not. It's really not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
but maybe Yale, maybe Yale. No, but like like I did all the requirements. I have a degree. I have this. I did that. And then every time I go somewhere, they're just like, you don't have experience or you're overqualified. Like I was trying to get a job at GameStop because I like video games. I said, let me just get some experience. I went there and they're like, you're overqualified. Like you shouldn't be here. You should be somewhere else. I'm like, but nobody wants to hire me, and
I
I go
feel
through
like
a mental battle
that's
with that a lot.
I feel like that's such a bullshit excuse too. It's like, okay, be grateful that you have this impressive asset, a part of your team
Yeah,
now. Like, what does that mean? Like you're overqualified, and I feel like it's just like a bullshit excuse to,
yeah,
not hire someone, for
yeah.
other underlying reasons that maybe they don't want to say or speak aloud.
So yeah,
Uh,
so a lot of times with this confidence, you're like, how do you come back from that? Like I just tell myself, well, like first of all, I keep my mind busy throughout the day because if I don't do something throughout the day actively or just anything like that, that's when you start getting in your head because you're just sitting there with your thoughts. So like Tom says, at least 3 to 4 times a week, I go work out and I lift weights for about 45 minutes. And then after that, if I'm not lifting weights, I go into my garage and you check it out on my little YouTube. I don't mean to
Plug it, dude.
blast my
Plug it.
YouTube plug. I'm
Blast
gonna
it.
plug my stuff, Mr. Wheels YouTube. Check it out. I know I haven't put a lot of shows up like normal shows, but I've been putting up live casting, streaming of me shooting hoops in the garage with my brother sometimes, and that's what we do. So just staying active throughout the day, even if it's just for an hour a day. That's all you need. Come back, and I come back in. I play video games. I try to stay in contact with my friends. Lone Fracto, aka Emilio, and then I try to, call T Fizzy, but he only calls me once a week. But at least he calls me back. That's all that matters. Just so keeping your mind busy, staying sociable with your friends, even when when you don't want to talk to your friends, it's okay. A text message every now and then will make them feel better. I told Tom, yes, talking to Tessa this, Tom was like, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Wheels. I am the worst friend ever." I said, "Tom, all it takes is a simple emoji, and I will be happy."
Yeah.
Because then that tells me that you're okay and that you're breathing, and that knowing that somebody else is okay when you check on them, it helps you mentally also.
Yeah.
So to give yourself confidence, stay in touch with the people that you do not mind talking to. Stay in touch with them and get out there in the world every now and then. Don't be inside your room or inside your apartment for too long because you will go crazy. And that's when we start getting into our negative thoughts because we're just sitting there with them. And if you just start doing stuff, they're not there because you're thinking of stuff and you have to. Oh, I have a job to do. I have to go do this. So it's never pops up in your head ever again.
You really said it right there. The majority of the time, like the negative thoughts attack and hit, and like usually like the worst that I can feel is when I'm alone, like behind closed doors, like in this apartment. Like
Yeah.
it's just stewing. Like I call it like in my turtle shell. Like I'll get scared of the world and I'll like retreat into my shell. But in my shell, I usually like be percolating, like negative thoughts and feelings. And the surefire way to get out of that is to literally to just go outside. Like just go outside. Even if I don't have anything to do, go roll through the neighborhood and just smile at some people that are cruising past you. Like put on some music that you like. For me, and I know this isn't realistic for everybody, but just getting a little bit of sunshine on my skin can make such a huge difference in how I'm feeling and stuff. Now I'm fortunate to live in a beautiful part of the world where we get a lot of sunshine. Not everybody is in that situation, but you know like Mr. Wheel said it too. If that even if that's going into your garage and playing b-ball, like that could be getting out and into a different space. It could be whatever that is. Just going to a coffee shop, even if it's by yourself. Reading a book. Just getting an opportunity to engage with some other people can really pull you out of that space and make a huge difference. Um, yeah, just I want to shout out a couple of people. We got Mo Cray. We got Padre Smurf. Um, Thank you everybody for stopping by. Mr. Leon. And Albie said, to me, bad thoughts push me back since a few years, and I really struggle with it. I feel you, dude. Um, I got a question for you, though. Albie, do you talk to a therapist? Have you ever talked to a therapist? What are your thoughts on therapy, Mr. Wheels? Have you ever spoken to a
I've I
therapist?
I not a lot of people notice, even including in my family, my intermediate family, but my junior year at KU, which is my second year technically, because I was a transfer student, but my junior year at KU, I it was during COVID, and it happened a lot during COVID, I heard, but I needed to talk to a therapist because I just felt like we were insulated but and isolated but from everybody. We couldn't see nobody, and it did drive me nuts a little bit. It did, start getting in my head, and so I did talk. And to be honest, the reason why I did call the therapist, it wasn't, oh, I'm struggling in school or I'm having these bad thoughts. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It was I was questioning my love life, and it was I deserve to be loved or someone deserve to love me, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And so I just had to have a self reflection and talk to this one guy. And the therapist guy was really cool. We did Zoom calls, obviously, but I only did a couple because I felt like it's just me. If I just work on myself, I'll be okay. And that's really that one thing. You have to love thyself before you can love other people. And that was my
that's
problem. I wasn't loving myself.
that's
Now
big
I
one.
do. I love myself way too much. But yeah.
No, not enough. Can never love yourself enough. It's really
Right.
interesting what you said. It's all I always say like all the answers to life's problems like lie within us. Like it is inside our head, but navigating to those answers can sometimes be the tricky part. And I've done some therapy in the past too. I found it really helpful. I honestly like didn't feel like I got too much advice from the therapist, but talking no, but talking to them, and like questions that they asked, and like
venting,
that, like them kind of helping like guide my crazy brain.
just
Um,
seeing another view of your point in a way.
yeah, exactly. Like give me some different perspective, like helping me not see through like the T-Fizzle lens, like maybe through like the lens of somebody else's eyes, like how that might look, and also just like navigating my brain to those answers. Like rather than just like spinning in circles of like negative thoughts and like doubtful feelings. It's like just someone was giving me a little like lighthouse, like a beacon to kind of head towards and to find some resolution and find some answers. And I did find it really, really helpful. And Albie said, no, I find it cringe to talk to a person who gets paid. Talking feelings is nice for a short moment, but it doesn't kill your problems in life or the goals you want to achieve, but you can't. And I hear you, Albie. I used to have a very similar opinion to therapy, which I I've changed it since. Like it is their job, but I don't think that should make it any less meaningful or important. I mean, if someone spent many years studying psychology and working on becoming a therapist, even if they do it professionally, that shouldn't necessarily take away from what they might have to offer you in the way of like help navigating the mental stuff. Um, but I feel you. My
Yeah,
kind of
and
a, go ahead.
no, I say just so y'all know, it's not like Bad Boys. And Bad Boys 2, when they go to therapy, it's not Wusa Officer Mike. It's none of that. Not one time. I'm just kidding. No.
I woosah sometimes if I like
Wusa
yeah,
Officer Mike,
woosah.
que rico
Just
papi.
just in a minute. No, you're right. It's not like that at all. My excuse that I used to give was I was worried that they wouldn't be able to relate to me or understand, like the struggles that I face unless they had a disability
Especially,
themselves or if they were quadriplegic
yeah.
themselves. I was like, how in the world is anybody gonna be able to relate or really understand what I'm going through if they don't live it or experience it every day? I kind of had to get out of that. I mean, I did have to get out of that mindset before speaking to a therapist. And it's not their job to relate to you. It's not their job to like understand what it's like to live with a disability. That is not their job. Their job is to help you navigate your negative thoughts and feelings. Their job is to help you kind of understand if you're not feeling confident or lacking confidence. Why is that, and how can we change that? It is not a prerequisite to be disabled to like talk to a disabled person about their mental health. And it took me a minute to understand that, and it only took me one session with my therapist to like understand that and like be like, okay, like that was a really bullshit excuse that I was giving for a long time to not talk to somebody. um, and the reason I first talked to a therapist was similar to what Mr. Wheel said. Like I had a lot of self doubt. Like I doubted myself in every way, shape, and form. Like I felt like I had little to no confidence. Like my self esteem was like rock bottom. Like I just felt so shitty about myself when I looked in the mirror. Like I could only see negative things. Like I could only see myself in a negative light, and it I don't know. I was at like a breaking point. Like I was like afraid I was just gonna spiral down further and like never ever feel okay or confident about myself again. But I talked to my sister about it one day, and she was like, "Bro, talk to a fucking therapist." Like,
But let me ask you, what did your therapist tell you of that? Because mine was like, look, I'm not gonna help you find love. I'm like, no, I'm not asking you to help me find love. I'm just asking you to help me get out of this mindset. And I think that's why I only did like one or two because I felt like he couldn't answer that. And it's no
mm,
knock on therapists sometimes, but he just kept going like, "Oh, you want me to find you love?" Like, no, I don't want you to find me love. I just want you to tell me why am I thinking this way. And I don't know. I think we're kind of going back and forth with each other, but I just I'm curious what he told you.
um, we talked about why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, and kind of got to the root of it, and understood that those those things and the reasons that I was feeling that way were kind of bullshit. Like, I don't know, it's almost like I was like crippling myself. Like I was like disabling myself
Making
in a
up
way.
excuses.
Exactly. I was making up excuses, or I was just like blaming things that were pretty
Like,
blameless into like why
if
I was
if they're
feeling.
gonna be with me, they gotta help me, and who's gonna want to help me when I do that? You know, I want.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Like
yeah.
spark. I want to keep the spark alive. Why would I want my girl to help me do
And
everything when I want to keep that little secret romantic
I
relationship?
wasn't really like thinking like in terms of like my love life or anything. I was just really like speaking in terms of like loving myself. Like I used to look at myself in the mirror and be like, "Damn, T Fizzy, you're looking good today, bro." And like, like you're just like feel good about who I was and what I was presenting to the world. And then that changed. Like, I I lost all of that, and I experienced some loss, which was I think one of the big reasons why I started like experiencing a lot of self doubt and like lacking a lot of self confidence, or like I just like took a
It's a
really
domino effect.
yeah, it is, and um, just literally talking through those things. We had a comment. Happy PT girl said, "Therapy is paying for a safe space," and it is, it is kind
Yeah,
of
you're not wrong.
it is kind of paying for a safe space, but I don't know. I think I have safe space when I talk to Mr. Wheels. Like, it's a close friend who I
Free,
trust, who,
free of
I
charge.
know loves me and is gonna give me, like not just like I think positive affirmation, but also like realistic, like
Honesty.
honesty. Exactly. You're just gonna be honest with me. You're gonna tell me like it is. And I feel like that's a safe space. But you're also a friend, and you also love me, and I think you have my best interest at heart, right? And similarly, if
Always,
I talk to
always.
my sister, or if I talk to my parents, or like another other close friends that I have, um, speaking to someone who wasn't necessarily a friend of mine, who like it certainly was a safe space, but it didn't really feel super safe being vulnerable to someone that I wasn't very familiar with or very friendly with. Like, like I always kind of had that fear of like of someone judging me. But that wasn't my experience at all. Like, I did not feel judged at all. Like also having someone that wasn't a friend or wasn't a family member listen to me, it gave me insight through like someone else's perspective that I don't think I would have easily found if I didn't have like a therapist to speak to, Like, does that make sense? Like,
No, it
sometimes
makes
it's not
total
the
sense.
right thing to talk to a friend or a family member, because
Because you're afraid that they're gonna sugarcoat their answer to you, and you don't want it sugarcoated. Like you said, you want it honesty. And sometimes even talking, to, hey, how do I know Mr. Wiz is gonna tell me in a nice way? I want someone just to tell me in a raw
yeah,
way. And if you don't tell your friends that, they're not gonna tell you that because they're your friends. But that's what therapist is for. Therapist is gonna tell you in a raw way. This is what's going on, and that's what they're for. You want to just make sure, yeah, my family, my friends aren't looking out. It's not just for my emotional best. It's for they're being honest with me because that's the right thing to do, not just because my emotions or and my feelings are nothing. And
you
that's
just
what the
said it. Like,
therapist will do.
they're not trying to protect you necessarily. Like, they're
Yeah,
like telling you like it is. Like,
they
maybe
don't know
pull
you.
yeah,
They
maybe
don't know
pulling you out
you.
of the
So
shell, like that you
yeah,
are stuck in. And that was a lot of what I gained through therapy. Um, it's still something that I'm constantly working on. Like I still get down on myself more often than I'd like to admit. I try to combat my negative thoughts and feelings with positive ones. A lot of times, like negative thoughts will like rush through my head. I'll have them, and then I'll like stop myself right there and be like, "Okay, Tom, that was bullshit. Like, say something nice, like right now. Like, and I'll just say it in my head. Instead of like getting down on myself, like I'll get down on myself, but then I'll catch myself and I'll immediately try to say something positive instead. And I feel like that kind of cancels out the negative a little bit. And it also, it's just like it's a practice thing. The more that I do it, the easier the positive thoughts and feelings come compared to the negative ones. But I have to consciously like practice that. Like I have to say it sometimes. And sometimes I'll even be in my apartment and say it out loud. Like I'll catch myself in the mirror and I'll, like I'll cringe or I'll say something negative about myself in my head, and I'll be like, no, fuck you, Tom. You're awesome, dude. You look beautiful. In fact, you look sexy, bro. Like, put a smile on your face and like, let's take advantage of this day, baby. And I'll try to flip that script in my head. I know it sounds cheesy as all hell, and it might be cheesy, but it's something that helps me. Like it really does. It helps me kind of battle with myself, like the negative stuff versus like the positive part of me. And sometimes I lose. That's just the nature of it. But I don't stay down. Like I don't give up on like ever feeling good or ever feeling confident or ever feeling positive about myself again. If I do fail, like I might be mopey for an afternoon or even the rest of the day, but I'll try again the next day, or I'll try again later, or I'll force myself to get out of my space and call it Mr. Wheels and go for a roll in the sunshine and, make myself feel better. And it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of practice, and I fail all the time, like I said, but I don't give up. I keep on trying. And that's the really, really, really important part, too, is just to understand that there is no, like, there's nothing that you can hear or nothing that you can say or nothing that you can do that's going to just fix how you feel all the time. But it's something that you have to work towards. It's something that you have to practice. It's something that you have to exercise. And eventually, like, pumping iron, your muscles are going to get bigger. Your body's going to get, stronger and feel better. Same with your brain. If you exercise your brain in a positive way, it will get stronger. It will feel better more often than not. It's not gonna
Read a book.
read a book. We had
Read
someone
a
that
book. I promise you.
said that earlier, Nicole. She says, "I like reading. I like writing. Listening to podcasts every day. I do the same
I
thing."
promise you, reading a book is awesome. During COVID, we didn't really have too much classes at the university, and especially during spring break and summer break. And what I would do, I would just go grab one of my books that I got from the library, and I'd go down the street to a little local church, a small church that they had, and I literally sit outside and I'd read my book for like 30, 45 minutes. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, reading a book for as many times as I did, my vocabulary, my spelling improved. You're like, that's elementary stuff. I promise you, you continue to learn new things every day, even as you get older and you're out of school. And so, reading a book, like Tom says, it just keeps your brain active and it keeps it going. Because when you stop reading books and you just start going through your text messages using all those acronyms and SMH and WTF,
Or
you're gonna start
or
talking that way.
scrolling through Instagram endlessly, doom
Yeah,
scrolling
you're
on
you're gonna
reels.
start talking that you're gonna start talking that way. You're gonna start going coming up to people like, "What's up, chat? How's it going? Oh, what? Why you all so sus?" Like, let's just start talking normal, people. Let's start talking in text. Let's start like we're so lazy to say the whole word. Like, I know we were lazy to text the whole word,
Come
but
on,
we
bruh.
can't be
I
that
like
lazy to
talking in
say the
slang.
whole word.
I like talking in slang
BRB.
sometimes.
Yarnami. No, 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 I don't mean no, but yeah, like
No, I
it's
mean
just
beyond
and
the
yeah,
academic value of reading and like what you said, like just feeding your brain and improving your vocabulary and stuff like that. I think reading is such a wonderful exercise because it gives you insight into different perspective. It's the perspective of the author. It's a perspective of whatever it is you're reading, and I love that. I mean, that's like gets me going is being able to like
yeah.
look through the lens of someone else to like get an idea that I didn't otherwise have in my head before like I read that, and be able to explore it and see how it helped shape me and change me, and what it might inspire within me. um, I think reading is super super awesome. I think writing is a great exercise too. Something that I do sometimes is turn off the music, turn off the TV, turn off anything, and just sit for 60 minutes in, with your thoughts and a pen and a piece of paper, and see what comes out, see what happens, see what your brain does. For me, it can sometimes be a difficult exercise, particularly if my brain isn't feeling great, if I'm having like a tough day mentally. Sometimes I can go a little bit deeper into that, but writing it out and navigating those thoughts in such a way where I can put them physically down on a piece of paper or type them physically into a computer, it helps me process them in a much better way rather than kind of stewing and like being stuck with those thoughts. Like it helps me get them out. Like it helps me physically pull them out of my brain and put them somewhere else so I can kind of remove myself from them for one, but also kind of process and understand those thoughts and feelings too in a different way than if I was just kind of like sitting there stuck in my head, over and over and over again. There's something really powerful for me to like physically like get it out of my brain and put it down onto a piece of paper or onto a screen and then think about it and reflect on it and understand it in a way that I was struggling to before. So reading and writing, I think, are really great exercises to navigating your mental. Albie said, I recently started working out, trying to get in shape. Drawing are the other things that I'm doing to escape my thoughts. Art is a beautiful way to express yourself. If writing isn't your thing, I think art can, be just as meaningful and powerful in way of like expressing your feelings in kind of a physical way, whether you're doing it on a tablet or a computer or a piece of paper. I think that's a really, really great exercise too. And we also got Lone Fractal, aka Emilio, in the chat.
Hey, low
Hey, what up,
fractal.
Mr. Emilio? I hope you're doing good, dude. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Um, okay, so we talked about confidence. We talked about negative thoughts and feelings. We talked about navigating the caregiver independence, life balance a little bit. What are some other factors to independent living that you think are maybe important to discuss? Anything
Um,
that come to mind off the top of your head?
the ones that you don't expect, the emergency ones, and I basically give you an example for me
Hit
and
me.
my uh, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Yes, I am legally allowed to call my nurse, and she will come over and help me go to the bathroom. But in that moment, you're kind of like, I'm not really thinking about trying to call somebody. I'm just thinking about controlling it, so to speak,
Yeah,
and not going all over yourself. And so I made sure, and living by yourself, you need to make sure that when nobody is there with you, worst case scenario, can I do this? Can I do that? So my worst case scenario is if I gotta go to the bathroom, I can go number one easily. I think
yeah,
we all can, pretty much. But it's the other one that we struggle with.
yeah,
So luckily, I've had a shower bench, and it was literally like maybe 10, 15 feet away from my toilet seat. So I would use a bathroom, very carefully sit on the edge of my wheelchair and get in the shower and use the shower head to clean myself off.
yeah,
Now, granted, I'm clean, everything's done, but I can't put my clothes back on.
yeah,
So if this happens during the day, yes, I call my nurse and they come and help me. But at night, you just gotta stay naked and get back to bed. But
get
you just, I
cozy.
think, yeah, I think it's just the things that you don't expect. You can plan everything to the second and to like the very detailed on how you want it, but it's the ones that you don't expect that you have to be prepared for. And that there's a saying that I love. I love this saying. It's prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah,
I live my life by that way. I'm prepared for the very worst to happen, but I'm very hopeful. That's why you're like, you're so proud. Oh, because I'm hopeful for the best,
yeah.
but I'm prepared for the worst.
I love that, and I really try to practice that too. I always try to be prepared for okay, what's the worst case scenario of like what could happen. Like particularly if you like live on your own and you're in bed all night by yourself. Like it's just what you said. Like okay, like what is the worst case scenario here, and what are you gonna do in that situation? When I first moved out, I kind of had like a checklist of things that I had to be able to do on my own before I could kind of like give myself confidence or permission. Like, okay, bro, like you
You
can
do
do it
it.
now. And that was like one,
Makes
I
a
had
lot
to
of
be able to
sense.
feed myself. Two, I had to be
Hmm.
able to transfer in and out of my chair independently. And three was to be able to like at the very least manage my bladder independently. And then I figured I could manage the rest, like my bowel care and stuff, with caregivers, like outside help and people like that. And I worked for years, like learning how to transfer and get strong. Like I started around like 15 or 16, never transferred independently before in my life. And I'm like, okay, bro,
Wow.
like took me an hour the first time just to get from my chair to my bed. And then I was able to, work up from there. Same thing with cooking and like preparing food. Like I never, I never, like
I never cooked until I moved out. I didn't cook for what 24, 25 years of my
yeah,
life, and
like
then
I
I got
helped
to
out in the
KU, and I
kitchen.
was like, I gotta cook. Oh,
I helped out sometimes, but I never like made a meal for myself or
yeah,
let
no, I
alone
never helped at all.
like serve myself
Never.
up, like a plate and stuff. Like
Yeah,
I always had my parents, I always had siblings or somebody
yeah.
around to kind of help me, even do stuff like get a glass of water. Like I was always used to like,
Yep.
hey hey Nick, hey whoever, you might give me a
You get a
glass of
glass of
water.
water.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
started to like work on my independence. It used to piss me off so much because I would ask my sister or my brother. They'd be like, "Go do it yourself." Like,
Yeah,
like
that's what they
what?
do.
What are you gonna do for an whole year? Like,
My brothers would say, "Fuck you, John. Go get yourself." That's what they do.
and
Mom's not here. What are you gonna
and I
do?
love them for that. I mean, they weren't doing it like
Yeah.
negatively or maliciously. They were doing it to try to push me and to enable me to be independent and learn the skills that I needed to do. Also,
Hmm.
like having the improvisational skills, having the problem solving skills to, like you said, to not panic, to kind of like understand the situation, accept certain things about it. Like I've been in the same boat as you. Like in the middle of the night, like had an accident. Like had to get up, clean myself up. Like by the time like 2 hours later, like I'm freaking exhausted. Transferring them out of my chair a bunch of times and stuff. It's like, all right, well, what am I gonna do now? Well, I guess I'm just gonna lay naked in bed and be big chilling until I can get some help tomorrow. From a
And
caregiver
then
or
when they show
something.
up, they're like, "What happened last night?" You're like, "Oh, you didn't want to know."
But not giving up, not letting it overwhelm you to the point where you're not able to act, you're not able to take care of
Yeah.
yourself. That is a learned skill. It took me, there were times where like I have like done that before, where I was like in a situation where I was just kind of overwhelmed and not really sure what to do, and I just am kind of like sit there for 15 minutes, like fuck, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? But take a deep breath, calm down a little bit, and just take it
Oh, that
one
stinks. Okay.
baby. No, but just take it one baby step at a time. Just take it one
Yes.
step at a time. Like if you're not sure how you're gonna do everything, it's like, okay, what can I do right now? Is there one little thing that I can do? And then once you do
Your
that thing,
microphone.
oh snap!
Your microphone went robotic.
All right, talk for a second.
Tom turned into a robot like he
Say
always does when
something
we're playing
or talk.
Fortnite. Yes, I got you. So no, but yeah, like Tom is saying, like just the little things. I had my nurses take all my drinks, put them on top of the refrigerator, and there was my drinks throughout the whole day. And if I drank too many of them too quick, I wouldn't have a drink. So living by yourself independently, it's a lot about timing and scheduling. One difference between me and Tom, though, Tom was talking that he had a checklist of what he wanted to do first before he left home. I didn't have that, and I kind of wish I did. But to be honest, me and Tom had different struggles going in moving away. His struggles on top of his list was
Hang on,
transferring.
hey, can you hear me,
I
Mr.
don't.
Rose?
Yeah, I
I
can hear you
don't.
a
I
little
don't
bit.
think they
Yeah.
can hear you because the microphone was being captured through my headset audio, and the stupid thing died. So give me a second. Do me a favor. Hold on to your thoughts and what you're gonna say, and just bear with me
What
for a
are my
second.
thoughts? Just I'm gonna keep him right there, Tom.
Just keep
Right
him
there.
right there.
Keep him.
I just gotta
Keep him.
switch out this little battery pack. Give me a
I'm gonna
second,
keep him
party
right there.
people. Um, And what up, Crypto Rob? What up, fellas? Damn, I'm so late. My bad. I totally forgot you were getting on today. What have I missed? Well, I'm not cooking today, as you can see. I had a little too much going on, and I wasn't really feeling energized enough to do all of that today. So we're talking about life skills with one of my best buds, Mr. Wheels, over here. So give me a second, Mr. Wheels.
We're watching a life skill live right now with Tom. This is one of his
So
life skills.
we can both hear you. We can hear you both. Can you guys hear us both? Is there an echo or
Is there a
anything?
double? Yeah, is there an echo?
Echo, echo, echo. All right. We're live, baby. This is what you get.
Hey, so what happens when you're live?
All right. Oh, dude. Why is this just disconnecting? Crypto Rob says, I hear you both fine. Let's just try to rock it for the rest of the
Do you want to
episode.
do it like this?
Yeah, let's just do it like this. And
Alright.
if the audio starts to echo or things get funny, just let me know. And I'll try to switch back or something. But I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay. Do you remember what you were saying, Mr. Wheels?
Yeah, no, I kept it right here in my head, like you
All
told me
right.
to.
Boom. Let's go.
I was saying like you had a checklist before you wanted to move out, and one of the things was transferring and stuff. I was saying I wish I had a checklist, but my checklist would have been a lot different. And it's proof that yes, we all are in wheelchairs, we all are disabled, but we all still have different challenges in life. One of the top thing on Tom's list was transferring. I honestly had to bite my lip when he said that because I was like, "What giggle?" I had like not giggle so loud, not disrespectful at the time, but I'm like, that's something on the bottom of my list. Like I can transfer easily, and the thing is, I can learn. And the reason why I learned how to do this because I hurt myself at Kansas University, and so I had a broken left arm, and I had 2 casts on my legs, so I couldn't do my normal transfer where I literally just kind of stand up, swing my butt over, and I'm sitting down or whatever. I couldn't do that no more because I had a broken left arm and a broken leg. So how do I do that? So I learned this new way of transferring where my wheelchair, these new wheelchairs have a tilt or reclining motion. I literally recline my chair back all the way till it's flat, and I throw my feet up on my bed, and I shimmy and I wiggle down, and then I'm on the bed. And then to get back in, I shimmy up the chair, and I sit up. Doing that has saved my knees because the way I used to transfer, I used to stand on my legs for a second, twist, and sit, even getting on the bed. And I used to hurt my knees a lot because I have a dislocated hip, and when you put weight on your legs when they're not in position, you tend to get some problems with your legs. And one of mine was having arthritis and knee problems. And ever since I've been doing this transfer this way, my knee problems have gone away. My body feels better. But going back to the checklist that Tom was talking about, man, yeah, I wish I had it. I think my only thing I didn't know that I couldn't do, like I said earlier, was I didn't know how to cook. So I thought I was just gonna get all these TV dinners and just pop it in my microwave and eat them. But you can only do that for so long when you just start getting tired and it's just like I think I had TV dinners for like the first 2-3 months in the university, and after that I was tired of it. And so I forced myself to learn how to cook. And as you see on here, it's not hard to cook certain things or to make certain snacks. Tom does it all the time. I had to do it. Yes, you do need a little bit of help doing the sides and fixings, but the main stuff in the main course, it's fun. And then when you do it after and you eat it, you feel good. You're like,
Yeah.
I made this. It tastes real good because I cooked it. And so, like, I think the only challenge I had moving on was I didn't know how to cook. And everything else, I had confidence that I knew how to do it because, like Tom said, I do have in-home support service, but I'm very independent and I try to do things on my own. Growing up with 3 older brothers that push you and treats me the way, like as Tom says, like, you know, he has older siblings, he can attest it. They made our skin thicker, and so yes, when people want to help us, we do it ourselves. And they go, "Oh, we're so sorry." No, it's okay. We just want to try it. We can't get it. Now we're gonna ask you to help us.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up, like about the rewarding feeling of, like doing something like
It's the
cooking.
best.
Like makes
It's the
the food
best.
taste good, makes it taste better. Having done it yourself, but also
Exactly.
like that feeling of just like doing something. Like if you drop something. I remember the first time I dropped something in my apartment that was like too heavy for me to pick up with a grabber, and I figured out how to flip it into a bag and pick up the bag and get what I needed, and I just felt so
Yes.
good. Like I felt like excited, like I accomplished something. I didn't need to call someone for help. Like I was able to figure out myself something which I didn't realize or think that I could do before, and that rewarded feeling that you get, I don't know, it was awesome. And it's something that like I strive for and work towards because it just makes me feel good. um you
You,
know
yeah, you have to have an adaptive mind when you live this way because a small quick story similar to Tom's. I was at KU walking my dog Molly out, and I had my key, and I have to have a card to swipe in to get into the building. Well, I'm holding it with my mouth because it's on a lantern, and my dog's going to the bathroom. Well, I went to go tell Molly to come here or stop, and I opened my mouth, and what happened? The card fell on the floor. I'm outside, and it's probably like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
yeah.
And what did I do? I said, "All right, John, think, John, think." I took my slipper off. I grabbed my card, I put it in my slipper, and I threw my slipper on top of the nearest table, and I grabbed the card out that way.
Let's go, dude.
When
That's
would you
awesome.
ever, like, I said, I had to put it in the bag and lift the bag up. We just adapt. It's called adapting. So when you live by yourself, you're gonna adapt. That's the biggest thing. You're gonna adapt. Oh shit, I dropped that. I can't pick it up. Figure out a way to drop it. Don't give up.
All right.
There's a way to get it.
One of the crazy stories of my life. This is like back in like my more serious drinking days. I was at a bar. I was at a bar 7 miles away from my apartment. It's called the Dark Horse Tavern, and I was there to my with my buddies until closing time. Like I missed the last bus, and I'm like, well, since I missed the last bus, may as well close out the bar. So I was like, probably 3 or 4 tequila shots deep. Toss a couple beers in there too, and I had something to do the next day. I needed to be home for my care at like 6:30 in the morning, and I was like, I missed the last bus. I'm drunk off my ass. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I got no way of getting back home. I was like, I could roll it. I could roll it 7 miles. That's nothing. That's nothing.
That's
So,
hard.
middle of the night, freezing ass cold in the middle of winter, I start rolling home, and I make it. I make it all the ways to. I live next to a university. I'm in the parking lot of the university, across the street from my apartment. I've made it. It's like 4:30 in the morning at this point. I had rolled for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I I hit a curb cutout, and my phone bounces off my lap and falls onto the ground. I'm like, no, what am I gonna do? I'm like, I was so close. I was so close. And it's like, bear in mind, it's 4:30 in the morning. Like, it's dark out, like early morning hours. I'm like, nobody's gonna be around to help me. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I was like, well, I guess I gotta pick it up. So I flip my armrest up, I open up my side guard, I tilt my chair down as low as I can get it, and I lean over, like all the way over to like where I'm touching the ground. And bear in mind, I've never picked up my phone before off the ground, ever. Let alone outside in the middle of an empty parking lot at 4 in the morning while I'm still drunk. And I managed to like with the tips of my fingers like flip my phone onto its side so it's like standing up and down. And then I was able to get a little bit of purchase on it to kind of like smash my hand against it and the wheel, and I started to slide it up, and I slid it up until it was like balanced on top of like the wheel, like on top of the rim, like the plastic cover. It was just
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
precariously balanced there, and I sit myself up. I don't know how I didn't fall out of my chair. I still to this day don't know how my butt stayed in my chair. I didn't have a seatbelt on or anything. But once it was balanced right there, I was able to lean down with both hands and pick it up and kind of sit back up in my chair. But it was one of those things, like one of those situations where I felt like it was impossible at the start of it. And I'm not advising anybody to do this, like especially while inebriated. Like I should have gone home, waited a couple hours, and went back and hoped that my phone was still there and asked someone for some help. But I was able to do it. I was able to do it. I did it. Like I did something that I
Wow.
thought was impossible, and it gave me a really great feeling and a lot of confidence. I was like, I can do anything. I can take on the whole world, Mr. Wheels.
I can walk. Oh shit.
I can walk. I can walk. I wasn't disabled this whole time.
This year you're drunk.
especially because I was drunk.
You probably hurt so bad you didn't feel nothing when you were bending over. That's why.
Hey, I mean, but I like live for those moments where, you know, like I was able to do something and overcome something that, you know, I thought was impossible, or once, you know, I didn't think that I could do. And honestly, there's like, I had my checklist like going into moving out and like living on my own, but there's no way you can prepare for everything. In fact, like there's 0% chance you can prepare for anything. Like most certainly things are going to come up that you're not prepared for. And I mean, same with Mr. Wheels. Like that first year, I had a meal plan at, you know, the school that I was going to, and I would just roll over to the dining hall, and it cost like, I don't know, thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. And it was like more food than I could eat. Like I had like 3 meals a day there. I would like go there once a day and like
You
barely.
freshman 50 on or what?
Yeah, barely be able to. I actually lost weight like my first year because I transitioned from like having a lot of help to doing so much physically on my own that I kind of melted a little bit because I was just doing a lot more. I gained some muscles that I didn't have before. But it was just like, it was like you said, like after 3 or 4 months of the meal plan, like every day I was like, I need real food. Like I need real food that's like not out of a cafeteria.
Less too.
Um,
And it costs way less when you do it that way.
yeah. So I did have some like rudimentary skills going in, but you know, I was like, let's tackle this, bro. Like I went to Target, you know, a meal plan, like, you know, figured out like my meals for the week and like, you know, how much work it was gonna be, and like, you know, I like planned out some really simple stuff, like, you know, maybe I did like a frozen meal for 1 or 2 nights, but you know, then like the other nights, like I spent, you know, an hour or two like preparing food and stuff, and just found like a good balance with it. And you know, found like a good balance with my care too. And when I first moved out, I had help every day. I don't have help every day now, but like I had someone every morning to help me with my bowel care and like getting up in my chair and getting dressed and stuff. While I had security with like help like every day, it kind of opened up some opportunities, some freedom to push myself too. Like, you know, I remember the first night, like I stayed over at a friend's and I called my caregiver and it was like, oh, I don't need you in the morning. And they were like, what do you mean you don't need me in the morning? I'm like, I'm not going to be home. I'm sleeping over at my friends. They're like, what do you mean you're sleeping over at your friends? Like, how are you going to do it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to sleep in my chair and I'm going to see how I feel in the morning. And if I need anything, I'll give you a call or shoot you a text message or something. But I allowed myself opportunity to kind of push my independence and push my freedom. And it started out like, it was just like one night at my friend's apartment a couple miles away from where I live to, you know, like taking a trip with, you know, Sean and the boys to Houston and like, you know, being
Going to
like,
Vegas.
yeah, going to Vegas, like, you know, but like doing more serious, like, independent stuff, like, you know, whether it's taking a trip or, you know, like being able to have someone over to my apartment without, you know, like needing a caregiver to be around the next morning or something, you know, like those, I was very secure. It felt very secure when I first moved out, but that security allowed me a lot of freedom to explore my independence, kind of with the confidence that if I did need something, I would have it, you know, I'd have it there. You know, I'd have someone that would have my back. And that helped teach me a lot and helped me grow and kind of get to a space where I could be very, very independent and feel very confident, you know, like on my own and, you know, not always like having someone on call to, you know, be there for me. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have some people like that still that I could call anytime. I know Mr. Wheels would be here, too sweet if I needed him to be. You know, my sister and my other caregivers and stuff. But having that space to where, like, to kind of explore my independence, but also, like, feel secure that if I needed some help, that I could have it, was the world. I mean, made it such a huge difference in my life and kind of made my independent living like be successful.
Y'all was talking about confidence earlier, like what gives you confidence. Honestly, living independently gives me confidence.
Yeah.
Now I have the confidence. I'm not trying to brag or get my head all big on the show, but like, I have way more confidence when I live by myself, going out to the bar than I do right now. So when I go out to the bar right now, you want to come back to my house? Don't worry about my mom. Like, no, you can't say that. There's no confidence there. But back at 3, 4 years ago, I was like, what's good? You trying to come back? It's just me and my dog. That's it. You know how confident that makes you feel? You know how manly that makes you feel? It makes you feel good.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that feeling. Like, I know, like, not even laughing, not even joking around. Like, I just remember I had all those thoughts and all those feelings and like all those insecurities like that you just described. Like, I used to go out and socialize even before I moved out. Like, go hang out with my friends and stuff. Like, like go out like with a lady or something. And like all I could think about was like, oh God, like I wish I had an apartment or something that I could like invite them back to, right? That was like one of my driving forces and why I wanted to move out, was to like have my own space to just like be able to live and explore my life without like having like the parentals or like people around constantly. And that like made my confidence skyrocket. I love Grandma's Boy, one of my favorite
Yeah,
movies.
he's like, quiet, you're gonna wake up my roommates. He's like, don't you mean your parents? Like, yeah, same thing. I love that part.
I love the line where he goes, he's like, dude, you sleep in a car bed. Yeah, but it's a fucking sweet car.
Sweet car. Yes, I have my own bed. Greatest movie in the world. Check it out, y'all. Grandma's Boy. That's me.
And just to kind of reflect a little bit on what we've been talking about, what we said, you don't have to move out on your own to find or to like feel that confidence that we described. Enabling yourself to go out with your friends and have your transportation figured out, or like have like figure it out with the bus or something, and like even if you're coming back home to like a very safe, comfortable space like where you do live with people and stuff, like that's fine, but creating these opportunities to kind of go out and explore on your own, discover your self identity, discover yourself. There's only one way you're going to do that, is to kind of take some risks and put yourself in a situation where you might feel a little bit uncomfortable, or you might be unsure, or like feel like just like that feeling where like you don't know necessarily like what you're going to do or how the night's going to go. But being able to do that successfully and get to the other side of it, be like, yo, I fucking did it. Like, I went out, I had a banging time, I got home all on my own, I didn't need help from nobody. I was able to go and use the bathroom like on my own and stuff. I was able to like sit at dinner with my homies and feed myself and like feel good and like have that experience. It changed my life. And like it's just what Mr. Wheel said too, like it helped me discover my confidence. Like it helped me like build up my self-esteem to like become the person that I am today. And like I still certainly struggle with it at times, sometimes a lot, but I have all these experiences to fall back on, like all these lived experiences to know that if I have a mind to do it, I have the will to do it, that I can achieve it. And it really changed my life in a very, very positive way, and kind of allowed me to be successful in this experiment of living on my own and like doing it.
Just remember, here's something I always tell myself: where there's a will, there's a way, and Mr. Briones always has a way. That's what I always tell myself.
I'll be said, it would be nice if you two could do this more often. I really enjoy these types of streams. Well, I would really take that to heart, Albie, and we can certainly try to incorporate a little bit more of this like free-form discussion rather than like doing cooking shows every week. Maybe we'll do this, like once a month, or even more frequently. But I really appreciate your feedback, you guys, and thanks for being cool with me taking a break from the cooking. I know I wasn't able to do it last week, and but I want this to be more than just cooking skills. It's cooking and life skills. So having these discussions about independent living and like other life skills that allow you to be successful and feel happy and feel confident and feel good, that's what I want to talk about too, and I want to do this more often too. So I appreciate the positive feedback, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it, Albie and Leon and Eric and Crypto Rob and everybody else that has stopped in on today's stream. I really appreciate it. We have been going for about an hour and 15 minutes, so I think we'll wrap it up here. We will certainly do this again in the future, though, if Mr. Wheels will come back on and hang out with me.
So down. I'm so down.
And I would just want to say
See,
thank you,
just
Mr. Wheels.
doing this, I'm gonna tell you right now, doing this, sitting right here for what, an hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah.
I didn't think about nothing negative. Why? Because I'm sitting right here doing something productive.
Yeah.
So even just doing this, it gave me confidence. Everything you do will give you confidence. Just don't sit there and watch people live.
Yeah.
Go live.
And, talking to someone else too. Like I'm telling you, like, man, just even 5 or 10 minutes on the phone with, like a friend or someone that I love, if I'm feeling funky, can fully reset my brain and, like, make me feel 100% better. And this has the same effect, maybe even in a more meaningful way. Because I was struggling a little bit this morning and kind of having a hard day, but calling up Mr. Wheels, him making me laugh and, hopping on the show with me today, helped me feel 1,000% better, than how I was feeling a couple hours ago. My body's not feeling great, like dealing with caregiver BS and, just like trying to navigate my independent life was bringing me down. But now I'm feeling 1,000% better and ready to tackle the world. So shout out Mr. Wheels. Thank you for helping me feel better. And just thanks for being here today, dude, for taking the time and giving us all of your insight and life experience. I'm telling you, dude, it is so valuable. I learned so much from it, and I know other people do too. So thank you, bro.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate you. It's an honor every time y'all have me on here. I love it. That's why I kick everybody out of my room. I'm like, I'm going to be on Live to Roll. So leave me alone.
That's right. We are Live to Roll. I just want to shout out to
sponsors.
We shout out our sponsors. I wish I had the reels to pop up for you guys, but I don't have it ready, so I'm just going to say it. Shout out Mobility Pros and Urology Professionals. Help you out with your durable medical equipment, wheelchairs, standing frames, shower chairs, anything of the like. Also, Urology Professionals anywhere in the US of A. If you need regular catheter supplies, regular urological supplies, they got you. We got Mr. Wheels dancing for us, spinning around. And also shout out tomorrow, I think it's either Rolling with the Golden Oldies. I think he's Rolling with the Golden Oldies, or Rolling Over the Hill, or Wheel Girl Talk. I'm pretty sure it's not Wheel Girl Talk, but it's one of those three shows. We are live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, sometimes on the weekend too. So if you are not subscribed to Live to Roll, please make sure to do that. If you feel like it, hit that little notification bell. It'll notify you when we go live on your phone or your computer or wherever you consume this content. And I just want to say that I love you guys a lot, every single one of you. Mr. Wheels, but also everybody watching, everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here, Albie. More than happy to answer your questions anytime. Mo Cray, big ups right back to you. And thanks for all the positive feedback, you guys. Lots of love. We should be back next week with some cooking. I think I'm gonna get a little skillet action. Be like doing some hot food, maybe a little breakfast extravaganza or something. But we'll be back with this again too. Be rest assured, Mr. Willis will be back with me, and we'll be talking and hanging out. All right, I'm gonna stop the stream. Live to roll. Peace.